Whew, it was a long weekend. It almost felt like a whole week. Mm. I was at the rink for a 12-hour skate day, which I can't complain. I love to skate. A lot happened. I'll get there. And then on Sunday, 12-hour shift at work. This morning when I woke up, I was tired. Today's President's Day, apparently. I didn't know that until I woke up to trade and I realized that the futures market was only open half a day. But I was like, I'm already up, so I might as well see if I can get a trade. Traded the S&P. Got like 15 or so points. Anyway, after that, I'll be honest. I went back to bed. Sometimes the most productive thing you can do is to rest. Imagine you're on a road trip and you see your gas tanks on E. Any sensible person would be like, all right, stop at a gas station. Same concept applies to me, I woke up and I was like, especially after the weekend I had, I woke up and I was like, I need a couple extra hours. We need a couple more gallons in the tank if we're gonna keep driving. So remember, when your gas tank's on E, it's okay to rest. Don't let anybody flame you for it. And today is leg day for me. Now, after my 12-hour skate session, my legs are still, they're cooked. They're sore. Now, I'm sure you saw yesterday's video. Going to the gym no matter what. Am I going to the gym today? Yes. Now, am I gonna go in and do a full crazy leg day? No. But I am gonna do some physical activity. For example, my hamstrings for some reason are very sore, but my quads, I could go do some leg extensions, They're not too bad. Long story short, I probably won't go to the gym and do the craziest set of squats ever, but I will go and stimulate my legs to the degree that they can handle. Now, back to Valentine's Day. Whew. There's tornado warnings. All the skaters got in-skate suspension. One of my friends, Felipe, well, he was doing what we do out there. We skate fast. We do crazy stuff, but we are very mindful of others. If we skate past you and you get spooked and fall, and it was a bad fall, we're gonna stop and make sure you're okay. If we see you fall and we can tell that it hurt and you're probably not getting back up, we're gonna stop and check on you. But people are afraid of what they don't understand. So Felipe was doing some stops and skating around, and well, this dude got upset. It happens sometimes. Apparently, some of the other skaters have been collecting strikes. Apparently, this one was a straw that broke the camel's back. Well, the story will come full circle, trust me. Anyway, so Felipe was doing his stops, etc., and this guy skates up to Felipe. Now I see this interaction happening in the back corner of the rink, and I'm like, this is weird. That dude doesn't look like he's asking Felipe for tips on how to skate, but the situation didn't seem like it was escalating. I didn't hear any yelling at this point. So I'm like, all right, I'm sure once this interaction is over, Felipe will come tell me about it. And he did. So when Felipe comes over, he starts telling me what happened. He's like, yeah, I did stop over there. Apparently this guy he got a little spooked, and then he skated up to me, and he told Felipe, he was like, hey man, watch where you're swerving. There's kids out here. Now, I was actually the dude that handed this guy his skates, and when he came up to the skate counter, he was with his kids, and he was like, hockey skates, the comfier ones. Now, I at the Galleria, the figure skate rentals and the hockey skate rentals, they're both the Fisher Price blue skates. However, the hockey rentals, they do have a hockey skate blade on them. So when I hand him the hockey skates, he's like, they're still blue? I'm like, yes sir. He's like, this is the same skate. I'm like, no sir, it's the same boot, but it does have a hockey skate blade at the bottom. He's like, oh, so it's the same comfort level. And I'm like, yes and no. I mean, yes sir, it is still the blue boot. However, I will tell you that hockey skates are a little more fun and they're a lot lighter. So in my opinion, yeah, they're comfier. Anyway, I could tell just based off of that interaction that this guy was already not having a good Valentine's Day. And when Felipe accidentally whizzed past him, I guess that didn't sit right with him. So Felipe tells me that when the dude approaches him, he starts going off, and Felipe's like, look man, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. However, sir, this is a public rink. We all have the same rights to the ice. And this guy looks at Felipe and goes, oh yeah? Well, I have public elbows. Now, this guy is like, he looks like he's like 40 or something. Like he is of age. And Felipe, he's young. He's a 15-year-old, Now, if you tell any 15, I was 15 at one point, and if you tell any 15-year-old a threat like, I have public elbows, you have just ignited a fire that water will not be able to put out. All right. So Felipe comes and tells me about the situation, and Felipe's telling me, he's like, well, if you have a problem, go talk to Dillon. And which is kind of funny. I told Felipe, I'm like, hey man, don't do that. Because even though I volunteer at the rink, I am not an official employee. So when you say that, this guy thinks that I work for the rink, and I'm happy to help resolve any issues. However, since I technically don't work there, my power is fairly limited. But hey, don't drink out of that. You have fresh water inside. Anyway. So when Felipe's telling me about this interaction, the dude skates back up to us. And he skates up and he's like, oh, so now you're complaining about me. And Felipe starts going off again. This dude starts going off again. And they're just going at it, man. And I didn't even witness the situation, so I'm just trying to get this dude to tell me what happened. I'm trying to tell Felipe, I'm like, look, calm down. Just turn it off just for a second. Let me see if I can dwindle this situation down to a more calm level. Make everyone a little more at ease. And, well, if you have an angry 40-year-old who's already having a bad day and a 15-year-old who just got threatened by said 40-year-old, it's a little difficult. So I'm in between both of them. They are going at it. And this 40-year-old's like, fuck around and find out. He's like trying to fight Felipe for some reason. And I'm like, sir, he's 50, like, come on. So they're in the middle, or I'm in the middle. They're screaming over me. So I'm in the middle of the rink, and I finally just go, "Hey!" And both of them stop. Not just both of them, but the whole rink. It fucking echoes. Everyone's now staring at the situation, which, well, was kind of my goal, because if everyone's staring, then this dude who's 40 years old and is angry probably does not want to be seen arguing with a 15-year-old. So he mumbles something else about Felipe and skates off, and then I turn to Felipe. I'm like, look, man, just let him be. If he's on the ice, just stay away from him. Just go do your thing. Just forget about it, you know. So that dude, he starts skating away. I'm like, all right, whatever. He can go do whatever. I don't care. So I step off the ice. I go to take a drink of my Gatorade. You know, I'm just taking a little rest. And unbeknownst to me, he was at the front desk. He's like fucking reading all the rules on the walls. He's getting ready to complain. And he comes up to me again while I'm drinking my Gatorade. Mind you, I haven't even done anything. He like comes around the corner and he's like, "Hey, it says right there, no speed skating." Now, unbeknownst to me, I didn't know that they like had added that, because, well, on weekdays when they're doing like figure skate practice and I'm there, I'm very mindful. You know, I don't go crazy, because like out of respect, like some of them are trying to like practice for actual figure skating competitions. I'd be kind of an asshole if I'm just whizzing past, ruining their practice. But on Saturdays, well, nobody's really there practicing, especially towards the end of the night. So we go nuts. We do our thing. Now he's telling me this, and I'm like, "Sir, I'm just a volunteer here. I don't work here. I did not see the situation. It is a public rink." And he's like, I don't care. If they're not enforcing the rules, you guys could get sued." I'm like, "Sir, it'd be a civil suit." And he's like, "No, I don't think you understand." And I'm like, "Sir, I don't think I do understand, because I didn't actually witness the scenario that has made you upset." And, well, he's not really listening to me. He's just arguing. And Diego, one of the supervisors, finally comes up. And I'm like, thank God. Whew. Because I don't think I could listen to another word out of this guy's mouth. Anyway, Diego starts, like, you know, once he got there, I just left. I was like, all right. Now, a couple hours pass. We're still skating. And we all go to get Chipotle. You know, we were hungry. And we get back from eating Chipotle. And Angel, one of the employees at the front desk, he says, "Hey, Miss Kathy called. She said anybody with hockey skates can no longer skate for the rest of the night." And I'm like, what? And I look for everybody else, and they're all just sitting on the benches, like. So I walk up to him. I'm like, "Hey guys, is this ISS right here? What happened?" And apparently the dude had emailed or called Miss Kathy to complain. And, well, apparently, yeah, like I said earlier, it was a straw that broke the camel's back, because apparently a couple of them have been getting some complaints like this. And, well, Miss Kathy had to be bothered on her Valentine's Day, and apparently she already wasn't having a good week. So we accidentally all got in-school suspension from the ice rink, which is kind of funny if you think about it. But what's funny is that at Ice at the Galleria, they have what's called the Rink Rats program, where if you kind of like if you help and you volunteer, then they let you in for free, you know, because we go there very often. It can get a little pricey to skate, so at the end of the night, you know, we'll help sweep, pick up skates, etc. Now I actually still pay because sometimes I leave early and I'm not able to help, so I would feel bad if I was getting let in for free and then not staying to help. But sometimes I do, especially like last night. But they're all up. So Angel calls Miss Kathy again, and Miss Kathy decides to like end the Rink Rats program. She's like, y'all can still skate, but now y'all have to pay. And they're all the rest of them. They're like, oh, you know, they're all like complaining and shit. And I look at Angel and I'm like, but I pay. You know, it's kind of like the scene from We're the Millers, where it's like, you guys are getting paid? You know? I'm like, because like they had all gotten let in for free that day, like they usually do, but, you know, I pay. So I'm like, Angel, I didn't even have anything to do with this situation. I paid, and I still can't skate. And he's like, I'm sorry, bro. And I was like, hold on, Angel. I'm supposed to be helping Jared out with this event tonight. Can I not skate that either? He's like, that's a good question. So I did end up getting to skate the event. But long story short, people are afraid of what they don't understand, you know? Because just as many people that are out there that, you know, get pissed off at us because we're skating fast, doing crazy shit, perhaps maybe a little too close to them, there's just as many people that love us for it, you know? Because this guy's argument was he had kids. I understand, you know, if you're a parent, you want your kids to be safe. But we're not, we're very aware. And something that's ironic is kids skate up to me all the time. like I'm the most, like we're the most popular people in the rink. The kids love us. It's a little ironic. like I've had scenarios where the kids skating up to me, asking me how I do all this stuff, and their parents are complaining about me, which is kind of funny. But long story short, people are afraid of what they don't understand, and sometimes you can't force them to understand or make them understand. You just have to let them be, you know? You can't change people's beliefs. Only they can. So the best thing to do is just lead by example and not add any fuel to the fire. Like when that dude came up to me and started arguing with me about rules and lawsuits, I could have went off on him, but it wouldn't have solved the issue. It would have actually made it worse, you know? Who knows? Everyone could have gotten kicked out if I started going off on that dude. Plus, I'm not that type of person. I'm already so busy. I don't have time to argue. So it's like, you know, what can you do? Things happen. Now, this is the first time it's happened to this degree. But you're probably asking me, well, now what, Dillon? Are you guys still going to ice at the Galleria? Well, I am. I like it there. And Miss Kathy's a very nice lady. She was just having a bad day. So I'm sure next week, when we all go to talk to her, she probably will just sit us down and be like, look, guys, I love that y'all come here. I love how y'all help out. But it's been happening too much. So I need you guys to do this, this, and this, and be more aware of people around you, you know? Which is understandable. But that's all I got for today. I don't think I remember the last time I made a video this long. I just kind of grabbed the camera and started talking. But that's all I got for today. I'll see you guys tomorrow.